We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Are interest rates going down? Is the Department of Government Efficiency changing macroeconomics? If interest rates fall, can Bitcoin go up? Remember that? This market is wounded, stressed out, strung out, maybe even a little bit of depression. But is that a good thing? It might be, because as I always say, the market never trades good at a bottom, right? Like alts bleed out 5-6% a day. You can't stay with your positions. Like that's the practical extension of it never trades good at a bottom. Meaning, you have a position, you believe in it, and even if it's at like its discount zone, it just continues to bleed. Now, I'm not telling you anything you may not already know, but when that starts to happen across the board and some of the macro is turning, like for example, the dollar went down, the yen went up yesterday, market handled it pretty good, right? You have to start to ask yourself, whatever negative things are out there, are they priced into crypto already? In other words, I'm sitting here looking at this thing this morning and I was like, well, everybody in the whole world was like, well, we're immune to good news and it doesn't go up and my bags and all right. I was like, okay, well, that I don't blame people for that. But then I was like, wait a minute. Could we become immune to negative news? In other words, if negative news comes out or there's negative price action, but the market doesn't crack again. So could that be a good sign? In other words, you had a Friday top last week, right? Or you had a failed rally that started the 87 crash of crypto, the biggest liquidation ever. I'm wondering if there's another dip or a sideways, whether or not you could have the final dip and then up. The inverse. Markets love symmetry. So you could go do a Saturday bottom instead of a Saturday crash, maybe. Right? The flip side of last week. Are these things possible? Yeah, they're possible. And I don't know that anyone's thinking about it necessarily because everyone's wrecked. Like the only people who are not wrecked are like the Bitcoin maxis. I mean, even Eric Trump, after getting made fun of on Twitter, had a pivot from Ethereum over to Bitcoin. Right. And I actually feel a little bit sorry for Eric Trump. He took it on the chin on ETH, but actually he's been warning you about all these big up moves all along. Like he warned you about the Trump meme coin by tweeting about his position the day before that came out. And as I continue to say on the stream over and over and over again, this has like been the greatest market call ever, in that Trump is going to do everything he said he was going to do and then some. So I don't understand why everybody gave up on this whole digital asset thing when, Trump is winning to such a degree. They're actually trying to get him out of office already. We'll go over that. But I mean, if Trump continues to stand tall, he's got to create another industry in the United States. He has to. We owe $37 trillion, no matter what Elon does. I mean, everyone's all excited about the headlines that Elon is creating, and we'll go over that. But they got to have cuts and they got to have growth. And I know everybody in crypto wanted it in 5 minutes, but I thought to myself, well, okay, wait a minute. Everyone was bulled up. Now everyone is out. So everybody in, everybody out, everybody back in again, right? In other words, everyone's going to go, wait a minute. This was all happening. Why are we bearish? Bull markets, what do they require? They require to move everyone to be worried, fearful, upset, bearish, and short, especially the people who like it the most. Bull markets go up when the people who like it are bearish and short because they'll get to buy it back lower in their mind. And of course, they never do. Like bear markets don't let you out. Bull markets don't let you in. It just happened to me in one of my positions. Just happened to me. I'm like, hey, we'll get a dip. I don't need it. No, you didn't. Okay. And this could happen across the board, right? Like everybody thinks Bitcoin's going to 81. What happens if Bitcoin, the lows are in? Who's talking about that? Nobody, because everyone's bearish. Or maybe it's more accurate to say everyone is upset, which of course is totally understandable given what's gone on, given what's happened to alts. But why has everyone packed it in on Web3? Why has that happened? Why is everybody packing it in on different forms of money? That's crazy. That's crazy, right? You want people to be negative in order to fuel a better market. Because what's your alternative investment to crypto? Stocks? You got NVIDIA earnings and stuff coming out, I think. Okay, well, if they're good, great. But if they're not good, Fidelity continues to buy Ethereum. Why? Because the way they look at the world, that's the most underperforming asset inside a crypto space that they think is going higher. Like stock people, it's funny. They're easy to make fun of in some ways, but in other ways, they just buy every dip. They don't care. They're like, oh, this is cheap versus this. Oh, great. Bitcoin, Ethereum is at a 4-year low versus Bitcoin. Oh, cool. Like we're like, oh God, don't touch that stuff. That's toxic. Whereas Fidelity is like, oh, look, on our equities thing, it's a dip and it's underperforming and it's got a good value proposition. So let's buy some. BlackRock owns the Bitcoin ETF. Maybe we could own the Ethereum ETF if it turns around. Of course, the alternative is that Fidelity is providing Vitalik with exit liquidity. That's if you wanted to be a sourpuss crypto person. But maybe we can think positive. Because again, everybody is like so depressed. It's so depressing. Like, XRP and Solana yesterday, they looked like they were going to crack and go down 10%. I was like, oh my God, I can't even look at this. Because every time it goes down now, what are you going to think about? Well, you're going to think about what happened on Friday and Saturday. It's called the knife experience, right? Every time it goes down, you're going to think about the bad stuff. Just like this happened in August, and that fueled this whole multi-month election rally, right? You had the crash in August of 2024, scared everybody out of the water. No one wanted to touch it. Everybody thought all coins were going to zero literally the day before the election. The day before the election, the Bitcoin maximalists were like, altcoins are going to zero versus Bitcoin. Altcoins are just going to disappear. And the whole thing took off the next day. Now, is that going to happen in this case? I don't know if it's going to happen that abruptly. But certainly Bitcoin dominance going to 62%, making an all-time high. And we'll go over the charts. But again, ask yourself this question. Have we been here before? Have we seen this before? I think the answer is yes. And even if the market doesn't trade good for, a day, a weekend, why are we all here? The problems in fiat, the problems with gold, the thing with gold, interest rates coming down. I mean, what do you think is going to happen like in these areas where government employees work? What is going to happen to real estate and banks in those areas? I mean, for real. So you're going to have a massive slowdown in economic growth when government spending drops. That's how it works, right? GDP is consumption plus investment plus government spending. So everybody's on TikTok going, yay, government spending down. Yeah, bro, but that also means economic growth down, just so you know, right? That includes real estate in affected areas, blah, 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 blah. So what are you going to own to protect yourself? Like if you were a government worker and you had any spare change and you're looking at this, you're like, oh my God, I got to hedge my life with what? NVIDIA? No, with crypto. I mean, I'm not saying that that's going to move the market, but I mean, that's how we all have to think, right? If artificial intelligence is going to change the labor market, how do you protect yourself? Well, you got to get long. You got to think about crypto. You also have to think about AI cryptos. You can think about AI stocks if you can find one that's undervalued. Some guys can, the experts can, but can you? Can me? Or can you just go to, Banter Bubbles or another service that I have, which I can't remember. I have it and look and say, oh, hey, let's check out AI cryptos. Because, supposedly AI cryptos were getting talked about yesterday on Twitter. So are you down? Yeah. Is that justified? Yeah. Could this thing turn around in a week? Yeah. Yeah. So let's welcome who's here. Okay. All right. So we have SGSG first on the stream, the original. Thomas Chai, Alexandra from Europe, Zapatus, welcome. Recursion, right? The wrecked PA of alts. What do you say? I say give it a week. Give it a week. Yav is here. Robbie, what's up? Honestly, I do not expect Solana to go lower. I think the lows are in. We'll see. The Bose fam, CL, Miguel, Warmon, Huber's Ranch, welcome. Holy schmoly, right? Diogo checking antivirus. Right on. Taz Pinball. Leo, Old Smoky, Stefan, not for the weak or faint of heart. Michael Garcia, Yee, what's up? Nemeta, and one. Katya, good morning. Stormin Norman, Maxwell J. Kong is here. Finland in the house. Welcoming our friends from up north. Oh my God, Namela from Guam is here. Good morning, good night, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. 40,000 federal workers accept Doge buyout as deadline looms. So to state the obvious, anybody who works for the federal government who's got marketable skills should probably have had a new job a long time ago. With the history of the way these things work, when giant entities start downsizing, the first people on the way out the door get the best package. I want to say IBM, the first downsizing, they gave people up to 6 months. Or you wound up with like 2 weeks for every year, or you wound up with a lot of severance. So these people are going to take 9 months pay and walk out the door. And you're going to have a situation where, everybody who you want to stay leaves. That would be these people. And then everybody who you want to leave stays. That's kind of the unintended consequences of stuff like this. But the simple fact of the matter is nobody is safe. The Elon shock is overwhelming. Like, I was not happy with Elon with this whole Visa thing in the beginning, but it's very clear that Trump is essentially outsourcing a corporate brain. He has a corporate brain online who's motivated to get money to go to Mars by just indiscriminately going after everything. And then when I got constructive, like when I got over being upset about crypto, was when I saw the rumor that they've caught the Pentagon spending $600 million on sushi. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this is all over. Yeah, they're going to, the more of these things that they find, they're just going to keep going. They're going to be indiscriminate about it because this is what corporations do, right? They lay everybody off, and the next day or 2 weeks later, they're either hiring new people or they're hiring old people back. They're going to overlay people off here, and it's going to lower rates, right? Like Powell's going to love this. Like, hey, government spending under control, not to mention that Powell wants to keep his job or his institution because, if they don't care what happens with the intelligence community staffing, they're not going to care about the Fed at all. They're going to leave the plunge protection team in place, maybe. And everybody else who's sitting around writing economics papers is gone. So if you want to keep the Fed as an institution, you're going to lower rates. Period. And no one is talking about this. No one. I saw one bond market guy mention that, the 10-year note yield, at least on an intraday chart, like downticked yesterday. Wow, look at this. U.S. government vessels now using the Panama Canal without fees. I don't see any Chinese soldiers in these pictures either. It's funny how that happens, right? Play around and find out, right? Play around and find out. If the guy says he's going to do it, he's doing it. I mean, what part of that is unclear at this point? What part of that is unclear at this point? And you know what? He's done a huge gamble with Canada, right? And I said this. He's actually changed people's minds in Canada. So Canada is probably not going to be the 51st state, but you know what Canada is probably going to become? A super strong, patriotic neighbor where everyone is running around in Canada waving the Canadian flag going, yeah, we're super pro-Canada. No more Justin Trudeau crazy people. Canada first. Love it. Love it. He's like moving the whole world around like a chessboard, and everybody keeps waiting for it to fail. It's not failing. It's working. Okay, meanwhile, back at the ranch where we talk about what's really going on in this economy, 9.3% of metro areas saw job growth, while unemployment rate rose in 68% of big cities. Labor market over for several years has been skewed by small sections of the country seeing all job growth. Many areas still below pre-pandemic employment levels. In other words, if you live in a city, most of the jobs are going to people from overseas. Period. Like, that's it. Small businesses and things like that in smaller areas, I guess, are looking for people, but you're not getting big city job growth. So what does the actual employment picture look like when you figure out how much they've been lying about these figures? I mean, if the Pentagon is spending $600 million on sushi, have you seen one accurate piece of economic information from the U.S. government? None. And John McAfee's got a quote somewhere in the video. Illuminati bot did it. It's like, I can't. You want me to tell you? You want me to make a decision? How can I make a decision when everything I'm being told is a lie? And I don't think anybody in crypto is thinking about, rates down, dollar down. Everyone's too busy thinking about, oh my God, what does this mean for the price of maple syrup? It has nothing to do with the price of maple syrup. It has nothing to do with tariffs. Everyone's like, oh my God, tariffs. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, that. Last week it was, oh my God, DeepSeek. A year ago or 6 months ago it was, oh my God, the yen. This has nothing to do with the value proposition of crypto, and it has nothing to do with the government executing on what they told you to do, which is that they need Web3 to grow. They don't say it that way, but they need growth. Now, they may not know that. They may not consciously know that, but they got to get this industry going. They got to get this industry going. And I also think you have to start looking, now that it's February, you got to start looking to Bitcoin Vegas, Bitcoin 2025 Vegas, to see if any politicians are going to be at that bull posting Bitcoin. You got to start asking yourself this question, right? Like, how does he get it going the first time? Bitcoin Nashville is like, I'm getting rid of Gensler, and the whole place goes crazy. He's like, let me do that again. Oh, I'm going to get rid of Gensler. The whole place goes crazy. Why wouldn't he continue to do that? Why would he not do that? Right? Or send someone to do it, like his son or whoever, right? Like LFG. So job growth is too low, and they may come out bull posting it like crazy. Now, meanwhile, back at the China ranch, there's a huge build in crude oil, right? In other words, there's a lot of oil out there and no one's buying it because the Chinese economy is rolling over. Private crude stocks hugely up, ironically, because Biden ran the Strategic Petroleum Reserve down to zero. So I'm sure Trump will be happy to reload that when oil's at $10. Fear greed is at 49. You have fear greed in a like perfect neutral position. Like fear greed, the range has been 44 to 94. Right? And unless the market's going to zero, unless you're going to have another wave, everyone's bearish again. Or everyone has been scared out of the water and isn't bullish. Now, some of this Michael Saylor cringe, like I saw something that I thought was fake. I don't know if the Eagle King can find it, but I understand that they changed the name of their company to Strategy, and it has a little exponential Bitcoin next to Strategy. Mike out there in front of that, and I'm like, oh, Mike, please stop it. Please stop it. Because of that Forbes cover. But I will find it. Everybody except Michael Saylor is bearish now. We'll see what that means. Fidelity continues to buy ETH. Again, do crypto people think that's smart? No. Does that fit the equity market mentality? Oh, yeah. And you have to remember, these people can drive our market. They can't drive the altcoins, but, they can drive the bigger coins. And the larger point is that, ironically, yesterday, Solana and XRP were being, like, thrown under a bus, and everyone has already forgotten that those are definitely the next two ETFs, because how is the sovereign wealth fund going to buy American-made cryptos if you don't have more crypto ETFs? I mean, Solana and XRP feel like a given. They feel like a given, right? Okay, so MicroStrategy, now Strategy, records a net loss in Q4. Okay. Okay. Then here's Mike experiencing a little bit of stress. I don't know if that was at the earnings call. Okay. I know Mike was out posing in front of his logo. I got a little scared at that point. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, oh, please have this not be some kind of like grotesque, ugly top. Please. I like meme coins with utility. Those are my favorite moonbags. Do we know a meme coin that has some utility? We'll talk about it. How the SEC's proposed token relief might impact crypto firms. Bro, everyone's looking for regulatory clarity. The only thing that you need regulatory clarity on is stable coins. And why would the general public there are reasons why they would want a stable coin, but they don't need a stable coin to get onboarded into crypto. You know what I'm saying? Like what? Brokerage firms need to say, oh, do our stable coin and then convert it to Bitcoin? No. I mean, they need stable coin legislation, but that is not an impediment from people doing crypto. What's an impediment for people doing crypto is the SEC suing you at any moment, for any time, for any reason. And they've dismantled that. So what is unclear about that? Nothing. But, again, price action creates the mentality. Like people see price, it goes up. Oh my God, it's wonderful. It's my joke, right? At $110,000, Bitcoin is unbelievable technology, an amazing investment. It's clearly the future. At 97K, it's overvalued garbage. Michael Saylor's on the cover of Forbes. It's all over. We had a good run. It's the opposite. But of course, I continue to make the joke to drive that point home. And the XRP bull posters are back. Thank God. Because everyone was like, hey, I don't want it yesterday at, I don't know, $2.40. I don't want it. Like $5 was a lame upside target 2 weeks ago. You couldn't even talk about it. It's like, yeah, okay, dude, we've already watched 500 XRP videos about $5. Where can it really go? The time to talk about these things is when the market is down. Now, look at this. Polymarket, will Trump be impeached? I don't know, man. I guess that's the only way they have to stop this guy. Elizabeth Warren and all these people are out protesting. Protesting what? Protesting what? That they're doing accounting in the U.S. government? Seriously, that they're actually figuring out where the money goes? Do you know what the answer to this is, by the way? This is a reason why I'm showing this. You look at this, and they're going to go, okay, you think we're doing something funny? You think we're doing something wrong? We're going to put it all on the blockchain. We'll put it on the blockchain, and you guys can just read it. That's all. We'll put everybody on the blockchain and we'll step back. And you can look at it and you can tell us if you're right, and you can have a march or you can have a protest. You can get upset because we're doing accounting. For God's sakes. Eric Trump. Feels like a great time to enter BTC. We'll give you a like, man. You know what I'm saying? Michael Saylor, no better time. I didn't see that. That's good. You know, you want to see Mike out there rocking it, right? Because Mike just took it on the chin. But remember, and I said this yesterday, Michael Saylor getting embarrassed may wind up being a good thing because he gets embarrassed, he gets angry, and he gets more determined. That eventually winds up on the tape. Because now Michael Saylor's like, well, did you curse the whole market? Now he has to live with that question. First he had to live with, well, Mike, Bitcoin's down 50%. Do you still believe in it? Now it's like, hey, Mike, you just caused the biggest crash in the history of crypto. How do you feel about that? The Second American Revolution. The Second American Revolution. Donald Trump as a sequel to George Washington. You had George Washington, you had Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration of Independence. You had Alexander Hamilton. Like my school, Rutgers in Jersey, was founded by Alexander Hamilton, who was running the Treasury at the time. The last time you had an all-star team running the U.S. government was probably that team. It's probably that team, right? And George Washington, probably unlike the Orange Man, he didn't actually want the job, but he didn't want there to be a king. He didn't want us to be like England, right? That's where he's similar to Trump, right? Where Trump is like, listen, if we hand this country over to, I don't know, let's call it the Trudeaus of the world, right? If we hand this country over to the Trudeaus of the world, we're done. The whole world could be done if you follow Elon Musk's logic. So I like this way better. I like Donald Trump as George Washington. I like the Canadians being a bunch of guys waving the flag, willing to drop the gloves and fight like a hockey player every time they see an American. I love it. I love it. It's perfect. It's perfect. And then everybody else can be like, wow, if he was going to do this to his neighbor, what's he going to do to us? Right? Hence, all these European elections, they're going to get influenced. They're either going to, people are going to say, well, you know what? I kind of like this. And I'm going to vote for any European person who thinks like this or not. People have a choice now. I don't know that people had a choice in Canada. I don't know if they had a choice in Europe. Now they do. So let's go. So it looks like all these government agencies were involved with, the Orange Man getting impeached twice. You supposedly had federal law enforcement all working on, big political events, like crimes rampant. And the guys, like the FBI, is like the tough guys, right? The FBI, the age limit to get into the FBI is 33 because they're the guys that run in alleys and kick in doors. And they had all of those guys working on, stuff that could be considered politically motivated, like 2/3 of the agency. Like there are actually agents that I feel sorry for. And again, if this is what's happening, if they said they're going to do it and they're doing it and the world is changing, how does that not benefit crypto? How does that not benefit us? They're doing what they said they were going to do to the point where people are shocked. I'm like, wow, how many days into this are we? And people are still shocked. That's pretty funny because this is exactly what he told you he was going to do, right? This impacts crypto and we're all bearish. We all gave up on this guy. He's like, you know what? You guys at this agency, do me a favor. Take the package because it's going away. This is the guy who's going to eventually pump Web3. Eventually. And all Elon has to do is put the treasury on the blockchain, and that's it. That's it. We're off to the races. Okay, so at 8 p.m. Central Time today, Janice McAfee, the widow of John McAfee, We'll be discussing the antivirus token, which has gotten itself up to a $25 million market cap, surpassing the market cap of Elon Trump fart. So just to be clear, there is a meme coin called Elon Trump fart that now has a market cap of around 15 million. And it took antivirus, I don't know, 3 weeks to get above that market cap. I will refer you to my Twitter to get additional bull posting and details about this. We can maybe look at the chart, but artificial intelligence, social media influencers, and I haven't said this publicly, much of it, Michael Saylor with egg on his face over this thing. There's a crypto influencer vacuum, right? He can't say anything. And if this McAfee AI agent ever gets loose on Twitter again, which, you know, it probably will, crypto doesn't have like a headline famous influencer driving the cycle the way BitBoy did in 2021. What happens if it's a machine? Everyone's like, ooh, AI agents are the theme. It's going to happen. AI agents are going to clean your house for you. How about AI agents get crypto moving? Because everyone in crypto is depressed and looking for some help. And how about the project gives you some? Check it out. Lunar Crush. This is interesting. I got whatever this is. I got to get it. Normally I'm a banter bubbles guy, but this is cool, right? AI coins are seeing increasing mentions across social media, led by everything. Okay. Like this is basically the big cap crypto universe. TokenFi, the graph is multi-coin capital. PAL, AIXBT is a big Kaizen thing, I think, right? Near Protocol is in the Grayscale AI ETF or ETN. Fetch left for dead. No one talking about it except on Twitter. No one wants to talk about Web3. I do. Oh, I do, right? All right, let's go to charts. Okay, so this is the 4-hour chart of ETH. So I guess this is the market's biggest problem, right? If you look at the 4-hour chart of ETH, this little plus sign here means the next big down move in ETH could be it. So you could have one more heave and that's it. This could happen quietly or it can happen aggressively. That is to be determined. Okay. Bitcoin DeMark work now looks better. Okay. Bitcoin is like in a very neutral state, and it's very possible that Bitcoin is in a very simple situation. Like this corrective activity here was just that, an A, B, C. This up move to 110 could have been the start of a new trend, a one wave. This huge puke could be a 2-wave correction. And the next thing that happens could be a gradual 3-wave up only move. Who's talking about that? Nobody. Nobody. Look at Solana hanging tough, right? We talked about this DeMark 9 bottom being really critical. Okay, 9 bottom, 9 bottom, 9 bottom. Hanging tough, right? Hanging tough. Okay, let me pull up some charts I know we're going to be interested in. Okay, so let's check on our boy Ski Mask. Okay, so Ski Mask fighting a good fight at the 62% retracement level. Trade's awful, doesn't it? Painful. And I mean that in a good way. It's like there's an old cowboy movie. It's like, say that with a smile on your face. Like, this market sucks. Smile. Force yourself to smile. Right. We got guys puking virtual at really low levels. Everyone giving up, right? Everyone, but look at this. Trades like garbage. It's down to $1 billion. Can you believe it? This is at $5 billion. It looked like it was absolutely going to go to the moon. Trades like total garbage. You know what? That's a good thing. If they hit this thing, if today's Thursday and they hit it Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and it doesn't come unglued and you're still standing, then what happens? Right? You will have taken 7 days of mega pain. Just think about that for a second. Like, will there be pain? I don't know. Maybe. Right? The mark work doesn't look that bad, but if we go to Luxalgo, everything is still below equilibrium, right? So it's like, okay, it's below equilibrium. Some stuff's pushing support. The charts don't look that good. You know what? Good. And you're like, Phil, what are you talking about? Good. Because you know what? If it holds, that's what creates a rally. If it falls apart, well, then I guess it falls apart, right? Do you need to watch a crypto show if it's going to fall apart? What are we going to do? Sell, get out, leave, give up on Web3? No, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not. Okay, antivirus. So this thing's moving, right? There are going to be catalysts announced at this Twitter space tonight. I'm sure. Otherwise, it wouldn't be moving, right? I would love to tell you that I did videos about it. That's just in time, I think. And, this speaks for itself in a couple ways, right? So this is the bigger the base, the higher in the space. It goes up, it goes to 80 million, and it sits there and everyone just packs it in. Everyone gives up. This thing could literally become a one coin market. Why not? It's 25 million market cap. Are we telling me that this is like too expensive or something? No, of course not. So again, you can revive from here in this, and this may actually get the market going. Could. Okay. All I'm saying is it's not over. It's just not over. That's my coin. I own that coin. Okay, great. It's doing okay. But we all know what can happen with meme coins. We all know you can go to 25 million, it can go down to 5 million, or it could go a much higher. And there could be an event in the market, led by McAfee's widow, Janice. Like, Janice is known. Like, remember that Wendy O tweet? Like, oh, I like AI coins with utility. Yeah. Antivirus. You're going to be able to buy privacy products. So it's, it's not just an agent. Even if it is just an agent, I think it's the coolest agent out there. How are you going to, there's no way to beat John McAfee. Okay. If Donald Trump is George Washington, John McAfee was Albert Einstein, James Bond, and Thomas Jefferson all rolled into one. You can't beat that. And then, you have that agent being programmed by public and private information. And then big mouths like me and possibly other people following, you know what I'm saying? Like, how long is it going to take before people go, gotta look at this. Wendy O said it. She said it without saying it. Yeah, I like AI meme coins with utility. Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay. So that's the market update for today. We will see you tomorrow.